The Transparency Award winners speak. Shannon, Stanley, Managing Director and Senior Managing Counsel at State Street, will talk about their Most Improved Award. Shira Goldmann, Manager of ESG Reporting for Verizon, will talk about the Best ESG Report. Jason Phillips, Managing Director, Assistant Controller at Moody's Corporation, Best Form 10K. Leanne McWilliams, Director and Senior Managing Counsel, Corporate Governance for Allstate, Best Proxy Statement. And Nicole McRae, Senior Director of Enterprise Compliance and Operations for Becton Dickinson, Best Code of Conduct, today on realtransparentdisclosure.com. All right, Shannon and Shira, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your award. Shannon, I'm going to start with you. How did you feel when you heard that State Street won Most Improved?
Well, thanks to Labrador for marking this achievement for State Street. It's really exciting to have our efforts recognized. So we were thrilled. We have just a cross-organizational collaborative process in the development of our disclosures. So just being recognized really means a lot.
And I should mention even that State Street got top 3 overall transparency across all 5 types of documents that we did our analysis on. And for you, Shira, how about your award, Best ESG Report for Verizon Communications? That's the first time that we've benchmarked the ESG report, so you must be pretty excited about that.
We were truly pleased. Thank you to you, Brock, and to Labrador, to have our ESG report recognized as a high quality and transparent disclosure is really all we could ask for. These are the characteristics that dictate our reporting strategy. We're always working to produce comprehensive, decision useful reporting, and it's nice to know the work is paying off.
And Shannon, what sort of continuous improvement process does State Street have in place to improve disclosure, particularly since your company won Most Improved? That's important to know.
Right. Well, the wording of this question is key, as continuous improvement is essential in this evolving landscape that we find ourselves in. We utilize traditional methods of benchmarking our peers and across the industry, as well as evaluating best practices and various memos. I would also add that we have leveraged and value the relationships developed with our stakeholders by listening and understanding through their feedback on matters such as corporate governance, human capital, executive compensation, and ESG to learn what is important to them. Within our disclosures, the development of graphics is key, and the goal is to remove the underlying complexities to help simplify State Street's story and provide a message that's clear and concise.
And Shira, what about Verizon's ESG report? What sort of continuous improvement are you doing there?
We continue to focus on our 2 primary reporting audiences, that's investors and regulators. On the investor audience side of things, we work constantly with our ESG reporting and ESG engagement teams to aggregate feedback from not only our investors, but also our raters and rankers to identify where we have room to improve our disclosures. On the regulatory front, we've created an ESG Center of Excellence, which includes teams from ESG, enterprise risk management, legal, accounting, policy, treasury, finance, sustainability, really bringing everybody to the table to facilitate our compliance with climate change related laws and regulations. We're continually reviewing how teams across Verizon can partner to meet regulatory expectations. So all in all, we are really continuing to focus on those target audiences and making sure we're authoring clear, concise, decision useful reporting that highlights our management of our key ESG areas.
Yeah, I'm finding that many companies it's project management really, and unlike SEC reporting where project management has been in place for many years, with ESG, obviously it's something new, and it's hard to build at first. It takes a while. Shannon, what sort of practice tip would you give to disclosure drafters out there?
I think following the theme is teamwork and partnership across the organization is key. I would also note starting the process early, just start drafting and developing the content, fine tuning and improvements will come over time. And also fresh eyes, review the draft that you wrote last night in the morning with a refreshed view and perspective. And every once in a while in your review process, start from the back of the document. I find that this content doesn't often get the benefit of fresh eyes. And sitting down and reading from cover to cover for consistency purposes and messaging for, across the disclosure.
Hey, that's a great practice tip to start from the back. I have not heard that one before. That's a great idea. Shira, what about you? What sort of practice tip would you offer?
I'd say to keep in touch with your business partners throughout the year. I find that one of my favorite parts about the job is having the opportunity to connect with folks from across the enterprise, from sustainability to real estate to network planning, to learn how we are continuously caring for our ESG areas. Not only is it really quite interesting to have visibility into all of these topics, but staying in the loop year round really makes the ultimate reporting burden lighter once it's ESG reporting season.
So congrats again. You will get something tangible as part of this award process, and we hope that you also get some sort of bonus or raise internally. So you should be recognized for the achievement that you've made.
Thank you.
So Jason, Moody's wins best 10K. We were just talking offline for a second about back when I was in-house and drafting the 10K. And how did it feel to hear that you won the award?
I felt fantastic. Brock, at Moody's, our purpose is to provide knowledge, clarity, and fairness to an interconnected world. So we were extremely excited to hear that we had won the Transparency Award for Best 10K. Over the past couple of years, we really have spent a lot of time focused on disclosure effectiveness, really across all of our public financial disclosure. So we're thrilled that we've been recognized for these efforts.
And then what sort of continuous improvement process does your company have in place to improve the disclosure each year?
Yeah, we've got a couple things. I mentioned before, Brock, that transparency and disclosure effectiveness really it's a paramount importance. It's really the heart of what we do here at Moody's. And each year we start the drafting process for all of our disclosures, very early. We're making sure we're aligned internally with messaging around key developments regarding our business and strategy. And this is really done informally. With talking through various stakeholders throughout the organization, then through formal processes as well through our disclosure committees. And as far as keeping up with regulatory requirements and making sure we're effective in that space, we've gotten a lot of benefit from some of the industry groups that we're associated with. For example, we belong to the Financial Executive International's Financial Accounting and Reporting Roundtable. Through these organizations, we're able to communicate directly with standard setters on new regulations and pronouncements. And we're also able to collaborate with our peers on practice issues regarding those new regulations, sort of best practice around those types of disclosures. So we've gotten a lot of benefit out of that as well to make sure that we're sort of at the cutting edge of these types of things.
And what is a practice tip you would give to the disclosure drafters out there?
I'd say really focus on crafting disclosures that can be quickly consumed by your stakeholders. And we've done that by utilizing things like executive summaries, graphics, tables, bullet points, and really getting away from those chunky type of paragraphs in our disclosures. For example, we've always had the goal that our stakeholders can read our management discussion and analysis in a few short minutes and easily extract the key material items that impact our results and our operations. And selfishly, I think it helps us internally with reviewing those documents and aligning on key messaging. So I think that's one of the things. I would also recommend really focusing on material items. We've done a lot of hard look at making sure we're focused on key material items to avoid disclosure overload and really be focused on disclosure effectiveness at Moody's.
So, the drawback of winning an award like this is that it's perhaps all downhill from here. So, but congratulations to Moody's and yourself. That you did such a great job.
Thanks, Brock. We've already been in discussions what we're going to do to win the next one. So we very much appreciate it. We're very excited.
Great. Thank you very much. Leanne, best proxy for Allstate. What an award. I recall back in 2017, back when I worked at the corporatecounsel.net, I informally declared Allstate the winner of best proxy that year, just because I had heard from so many institutional investors how much they loved your proxy. So obviously not much has changed since then. So how did it feel to hear that you won the award?
Well, it felt great. I actually forwarded your announcement on to, a lot of other business partners at Allstate, and just immediately said, man, it feels good to get recognized for a lot of hard work. We have a lot of people involved in this project, and it's a really important disclosure to Allstate. I always tell people, if you want to know about the financial condition of a company, read the 10K. And then if you want to find out what a company really cares about, read the proxy statement. And so that being said, it is important to us. A lot of work goes into it, and it just feels really great to be recognized for that.
And what sort of continuous improvement process do you have in place to improve the disclosure each year?
We are really big on shareholder engagement. We reach out to shareholders 3 times a year, which is more than what I'm used to at prior companies. And we really listen to them. We take in their feedback. We go back to our board with it. And then we use that to figure out how can we enhance our disclosures. Ultimately, we want shareholders to find information easily, be able to digest it, and then, really see and understand what's important to us and what we're doing as a company. So I'd say that's a big piece. And benchmarking. There's a lot of great public disclosures out there, and a lot of companies doing a great job. So, we look at other company disclosures and kind of see what are they doing right, and, get some new ideas that way.
And what is a practice tip that you would give to the disclosure drafters out there?
Talk to your shareholders. I think that's huge. And I just can't even say enough the valuable feedback we've gotten from doing that. Reach out to them and just take the time to get their thoughts. And, and I hate to say it again, but just the benchmarking, look at what other companies are doing, read the blog posts, read the law firm memos that come through, take the CLEs that come across your inbox that talk about, best practice disclosures, and just really put in the time.
Yeah, what's amazing to me is that Allstate continues to do such a great job, even though over the years I've been doing this long enough that the people that actually draft the proxy has changed over the years. I know from Deb to Jenny and going way back. And then so it's great that the culture there and the people that get hired like you come in and still have that commitment to being as transparent as you can be.
For sure. I'm kind of training someone else right now, a new hire, and, really showing them or explaining to them why the proxy is important to us, and, kind of trying to teach her the ropes as well. So it seems like it's a continuing educational process for new attorneys that come in.
That's so important. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you, Brock.
So Nicole, best code of conduct. This is a little bit of an unusual topic from what I've covered over my career. But the code of conduct is so important. I have been in-house at a company, and of course, without a good code of conduct, then things can get loosey-goosey within the company, and you get in trouble. And I worked at a defense contractor where it was really important to have your P's and Q's in line. So, but the first question I have to ask you is, how did it feel to hear that you won the award?
Well, many emotions. Being recognized with the best code of conduct for BD is deeply rewarding. And it just represents the culmination of hard work and dedication and commitment to ethical principles that are truly representative of the company's values. So there's a bit of pride and accomplishment, being proud of the team and the work that we did cross-functionally and across the globe in a highly regulated industry is deeply rewarding. And the a sense of satisfaction knowing that your efforts are acknowledged but also celebrated is also great feeling.
So Nicole, what sort of continuous improvement process do you have in place to improve your code?
I think in our industry, it's important to remain adaptable to changing circumstances and also continue to make sure that our ethical standards are high. And there's several things we can do to make sure that we're continuing to improve. We, of course, regularly review and assess where our risks are and what needs to be covered in our code of conduct. And we regularly schedule reviews of the code. And we make sure that we continuously seek input from a diverse group of stakeholders across the company and across the globe. And we just make sure that we encourage people to provide feedback on the code so that we can make sure we're getting the right information out to the associates so they can continue to make the right decisions on behalf of the company.
So what is a practice tip that you would give out there to people that work with codes of conduct?
Sure. I think you always have to regularly revisit and think about ways to improve your code. I think first and foremost, you always start with your values. It's a crucial step in establishing the company culture to make sure that those values come across clearly and that we set the tone with our associates of what the behavioral expectations are. But I also think it's important that you tailor the code of conduct to your industry and your risk profile. So you're always iterating and making sure that your code reflects the risks that you face and gives associates the right guidance so they can make decisions. I think using clear and simple language that's easy for everyone to understand and make sure that it addresses a wide range of topics. I think also another important element is that it's visually appealing and it's user-friendly. We want to make sure that we make things easy for associates to find so that they can get the answers they need when they need them.
Yeah, I completely agree that clear and concise language is appropriate, because if too many lawyers get too involved and it gets to be too much legalese, then that really defeats the purpose of having the code in the first place. You want something that people can readily understand so they can comply with it. So you'll be happy to know that something tangible will be coming to recognize BD's achievement. And so congratulations on being so transparent in your code of conduct. And thank you very much, Nicole.
Thank you. Thanks for the recognition. We really appreciate it.